welcome and thank you for joining us today to hear from small business owners across the country representing the over 500 small business owners who've signed on in support of an urgent call to invest in a comprehensive federal paid family and medical leave program. My name is Sarah Crozier. I'm the communications director at Main Street Alliance, and on behalf of ourselves and our partner Paid Leave US, we welcome you to this call. I will go over some logistics and then I'll hand it off to Main Street Alliance's co-executive director, Shonda Kosser, to introduce Senator Patty Murray. Please be sure to stay muted unless you are speaking. That will help with the stories that are being presented today. We will open for questions at the end of the call, but feel free to add them in the chat with your name and outlet throughout the presentation, and we can call on you at the end as well. With that, I will pass it to Shonda.
Thanks, Sarah. Can you hear me okay? All right. I am Shonda Kosser. I'm the co-executive director of Main Street Alliance. On behalf of Main Street Alliance and Plus, I want to thank Senator Murray for making time in her schedule to join us today, especially given the Senate activity happening right now on the bipartisan infrastructure package. Together, Main Street Alliance and Plus represent small businesses across the country who are calling on Congress and the United States to once and for all, guarantee paid leave at the federal level. We want to build back businesses, support families, and generate long-term economic growth, since small businesses support nearly half of the private sector. As the pandemic has clearly shown, the lack of access to paid leave continues to force women out of the workforce, remain unemployed, and while disproportionately affecting women of color. I want to pause right now because you might hear in the background, I'm a small business owner, a mom of 3, so this resonates with me very deeply. The speakers here today represents over 500 small businesses who have added their names to letters from Main Street Alliance, Paid Leave US, and Small Business Majority to call for urgent investment in our care economy. Before they share their stories, we want to welcome Senator Patty Murray as Washington State's senior senator, as well as the first female senator elected to Washington. She is currently the chair of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, or HELP Committee, which recently convened the first hearing solely on paid leave since 2007. So thank you very much, Senator Murray, for your tireless leadership on this issue. It was great to see you out yesterday at the bus tour to support paid leave for small businesses. Welcome.
Thank you, Shonda and Sarah and everyone on the call. First, just let me say a huge thank you to the teams at Main Street Alliance and Paid Leave for the United States for putting this event together. And to each of our small business owners here today, thank you for your willingness to share your stories and for joining this fight for paid leave. I am really looking forward personally to hearing from all of you. You know, for too long, workers in our country have been forced to make impossible choices, like having to go back to work days after welcoming a new child into their lives, or losing a paycheck if they need to care for themselves or their child or a loved one who is seriously ill. And workers, including our small business owners, deserve to be able to care for themselves and their families without financial strain. And that means passing a national paid family and medical leave program. But paid leave isn't just good for workers, it is good for small businesses. Without a national paid leave program, we are putting our small businesses at a disadvantage, which of course is something you're all familiar with, because too often private insurers do not offer affordable paid leave policies to our small businesses. And our small business owners are left to compete then with corporations that can offer generous packages that simply they can't match. And as a result, employees, and in particular women, are dropping out of the workforce now, and small businesses are losing talent, productivity, and obviously money. So if we pass a national paid family and medical leave program, we can even that playing field for our small businesses and ensure you can all offer yourselves and your employees the paid leave everyone deserves. Supporting our small businesses and our workers with the National Paid Leave Program is also critical to our economic recovery. There was a recent report that showed that our lack of care policies in this country, including paid leave, costs our economy $650 billion each year because women are forced out of the workforce. So by passing paid leave policies and care policies, we can support small businesses and help women get back into the workforce and help grow our economy, which helps all of us. We've got an historic opportunity right now to pass paid leave. And after years of fighting for this, I am determined to get this done and to build back an economy that works for everyone, not just those at the top. So I want to thank everyone who's participating in this. I'm really excited to hear from each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Murray. And with that, we will introduce our small business speakers who are coming from across the country. We'll start with Bria Starmer, who's the founder of Lions and Tigers, a consulting firm out of your home state, Seattle, Washington.
Senator Murray, hello, I'm Bria. I'm the founder of Lions and Tigers. We're a consultancy that specializes in part-time and flexible work, primarily to keep women in the workforce. And I'm a huge fangirl. I also met my husband at WSU, and my headquartered business is in Woodinville, Washington. So just give me a moment to have a fangirl time with you here together. And thank you for spending so much time thinking about this critical topic of paid leave. What a momentous time to come together. I join you with a little bit of a unique perspective because I am not only a founder and an entrepreneur, but I'm a mother of 3, and I have only ever had one maternity leave. And that is because my first 2 kids were born while I was laid off from the workforce. I was laid off from my tech job, pregnant, and was excluded from the workplace. And so had to build a freelance and entrepreneurial career to try to compensate for that. But this last pregnancy, I have an 8-month-old baby at home, Finley. We were the benefactor of a progressive legislator in Washington state, and I received paid leave benefits with her that allowed me to be home with her for 3 months to care for her and to recover from a C-section. It also afforded my business stability while I stepped out to continue running and knowing what was going to happen when I returned, which I did not experience in my first 2 pregnancies. And it feels like a calling for us to all come together to have that benefit experience for all Americans, not just Washingtonians and the privileged few of us that get that experience. And Senator Murray, you so well articulated the talent war that we're all in. As a business owner in the Pacific Northwest, paid leave is a table stakes for me, bringing talent into the workforce. I'm competing against Amazon and Microsoft and Google, some of whom are my clients. And yet, this benefit would enable me to reinvest that money, not only into our people, but also into innovation in our local economy. So it's truly critical for me as a business owner to compete and to care for the people who are most important in caring for others. So with that, thank you so much, Senator Murray. I have often asked myself, what would Senator Murray do in this moment? So I will continue to ask myself that in my role, and appreciate your leadership so much in what you do.
Thank you, Bria. And with that, we'll move to Natasha Crosby out in Richmond, Virginia. Natasha is a Main Street Alliance member, has their own realty business, as well as is the president of the LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce in Richmond.
Thank you, Sarah. Can you hear me okay? I certainly hope so. Well, thank you all for having me. A universal paid family and medical leave program. This is a small business boosting policy overall. It's an investment in our workforce, in the entrepreneurs that are driving our economy and leading our recovery. And we all know that it's been a very difficult 18 months for small businesses across the country. Many entrepreneurial dreams, they've been dashed or deferred altogether, right? And so, now more than ever, our Main Street businesses, our small, our mom and pop shops, they need our support. And so what they need are tools and resources to help them navigate these challenges that we're facing. And as we all know, a lot of these challenges came up during this pandemic, but some of them are long-standing challenges that were only laid bare by the pandemic. So a universal paid leave policy, it has to be a part of how we begin to build a stronger, more resilient, and more equitable economy. Now, a universal paid leave program would give much needed security to self-employed people like myself. I'm the only person who does my job, right? As a realtor, I have to show up for my business every single day, and I'm happy to do that. On the other side, it means that I am one medical emergency or having a sick spouse or parent or a sibling from having to choose between, my family, my loved ones, or my income. And I just don't believe that that's a choice that any American should have to make. And in fact, when I first returned back to Virginia, I started my business in part because of a family caregiving situation. My sister's chronic illness means that she needs a lot of care, and I want to make sure that I'm able to give her the care that she needs. And I want to do that without having to put my livelihood in jeopardy. And as far as the Richmond LGBTQ Chamber goes, we obviously take a lot of pride in the diversity of our membership. Our members range from brick and mortar shops to startups, self-employed people. We kind of run the gamut here in the Tri-City area. So we have large businesses, we have smaller businesses, some that are well-established and others that are just starting out. But if we were to have a universal paid leave policy, it would help every single member of our business, no matter their industry or their size. So access to this paid leave would help our members grow their businesses, create more jobs, helping attract and retain employees. Without a doubt, right? Paid leave would help our members compete with bigger businesses who can afford these benefits, right? They can afford these on their own. And paid leave would increase our revenue by making sure that every working American has a stable income and more money to spend at our businesses. So we've, at this point, we've seen all too clear how businesses, they can be booming one day and have to shut their doors the next. And we all know that at some point in our lives, we're gonna have to recover from an illness ourselves or help a loved one recover. So we don't need to waste any more time, right? We already know what it's like when we don't have a plan in place for people to be absent from their work or their businesses. And so we don't need to waste any more moments without that plan. And for our small businesses and our employees and the communities that we serve, we need a strong, universal, and affordable paid family and medical leave plan right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. We're going to fly back across the country for our final speaker, who is Representative Diego Espinosa, owner of Fuego Bar and Grill in Tolleson, Arizona, as well as a state legislator representing Arizona's 19th House District.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you very much. And it's an honor and a privilege to be with each and every one of you. And I just want to thank the two ladies before me. Thank you for what you're doing and continue to pave the way for many young ladies that have the same aspirations of you do to continue to grow businesses. But as we've seen and as we've heard from these two ladies here, there's only 14% of the U.S. workforce that actually has paid family leave sponsored by employers. I think it's specifically important for those in the rural communities and in indigenous communities that this is a vital tool for the small businesses that are the true bloodline to our country. I can share with you as a state representative, myself and my colleagues at the Arizona State Legislature have been fighting for this for years and has fallen on deaf ears. So we continue to move these policies and bring these to the forefront and getting the attention of our Republican colleagues so we can actually have something like this in our state of Arizona and move across the country. So Senator, thank you for that. But once again, this is extremely vital tool for small businesses. As mentioned earlier, it can improve morale immensely, especially for small businesses like myself. I can share with you during COVID, I had a staff of 14 and I was minimized down to 3. And mainly because individuals were primary caretakers to either their family members, their mothers and fathers, a sister or brother, or a child. And they would have to leave the workforce, specifically in my small business, to stay home and care for those individuals. So this would have been a wonderful tool to keep retention and not have what we're having now, where there's a talent pool that continues to diminish in our country, which is a concern for all small businesses, because if one is failing, the other may soon be in that same predicament and fighting for a workforce that is no longer present because they're too busy working with their family members and try to care for them. I follow in that same suit now, helping my mother care for my father that has now experienced some challenges on his health. And so it would be increasingly important for me to have this not only for myself, but to share with my employees to ensure that they can have the retention and we can remain competitive within the market with other small businesses and support one another in the process as we move through this variant that's coming through and ravaging our country. I think this is a prime example. It shows that we can build back better with the instituting the Paid Family Leave Act and making sure that employers, especially the small businesses throughout our country, they're a true lifeline for our great economy, that continue to build back better and come back stronger. And this is the opportunity for us to do that. And Senator, I applaud you for all your efforts, and I look forward for you to delivering the gold, if you will, and ensuring that we can bring this to all our small businesses, but most importantly to our families. And like I said, for myself, family is important and it's key for my business, and I show that to my employees every day. So hopefully we have an opportunity to get this across the finish line. And I know it's a lot of hard work, but I understand you being the driver of this can get this accomplished. And I look forward to teaming up with you and many others to see this to fruition.
Thank you, Diego. I want to give the senator an opportunity to make any closing remarks before we open it up for press Q&A. While that discussion is happening, happy to take any questions in the chat, and also want to highlight any local news, especially if you want to speak to your Washington senator, want to give you priority to make sure you can catch her before she has to go.
Sorry, you'd think after a year and a half, I'd know how to unmute. Thank you so much to these three great stories that we just heard from. They're indicative of so many small business owners that I am speaking to, and I really appreciated hearing from all of you about what this means to me. I will take those stories back with me in this fight right now that we're in to pass this National Paid Leave Program. So thank you so much. So Sarah, I'll let you open it up for Q&A.
Absolutely. So you may either raise your hand or feel free to come off mute to ask a question. Also monitoring the chat with any questions with names and outlets as well. We will also be recording this and sending this out to others. And so able to follow up with any connections for interviews or any follow-up conversations with anyone you've heard from this call. So hearing and seeing no questions, all that.
We were just all too compelling, Sarah.
Absolutely. Just means we absolutely need to get this done. It's very clear.
All right, I'm on it. Thanks for being on my team. Really nice to meet all of you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Senator. And with that, we'll close the call. Thank you again for everyone sharing their stories, and we'll follow up with any interview requests or other things. Thank you again.
Thank you all.
Thank you.